calling people out when they are about to develop bad habits. I think that's so important because from outside it's easier to see that this is not going to lead anywhere, this habit, so might just drop it now.
I was unprofitable for so long. The only thing that really changed was I got married, and that's where my wife helped me become more self-accountable, understand who I am as a person. So I guess that's where the change started happening. She knows my time windows as well to enter trades. So she knows like at 11 or 12 p.m, that's in between London and New York. And if I'm entering a trade, she's like, you're out of your window. Why are you entering a trade now?
And it's really like warming my heart that people actually care about the journey and they relate to my journey so much.
Welcome to Risk Reward Radio. Today I'm joined by two guests. One, she quit her job to become a trader because she dreams of buying an apartment in Dubai and building a luxury catio for her cat Mali. And the other guest, he has pulled over $650,000 from the markets in just over a year, ranked number 2 in FTMO and number 1 with funding pips earlier this year. Welcome to today's conversation with Fannie and Zamco. So Fannie, at what point did you actually feel like a trader since quitting your job?
I think when you start trading, it's like a roller coaster. It's not just like at one point it clicks and then everything is amazing. I've been going a bit up and down and thinking that, oh, is this it? Like, is life going to change for me now? And I would go on a walk and imagine that it is changing for me, but then new challenges come. And so I'm still in that roller coaster and hopefully I'll get there.
Yeah, it's a tough roller coaster to be on.
Yes.
There's a big journey coming, but
yes,
you've
but
done
I'm
it.
Sticking with it. It's hard, but I really want it.
That's the mindset to have. And Zamco, you went from risking $10 trades to now managing $2 million in funding, over $650K in payouts. What mindset had to die for you to reach the levels and the attainments that you've reached today?
Okay, so for the first 6 years I was unprofitable, and I guess my mindset over there was not having trust in my system. And I know how to do the technical analysis and everything, so I've been trading for years, so I know how to go about entering and exiting the market, but I didn't have any tangible evidence that I can make any money from this until I got paid out first ever time back in April 2024. So until I had that tangible evidence, I didn't have that confidence and trust in my system. But after I started hitting consecutive payouts, instantly my confidence boosted. I knew that, okay, this is real. I have real evidence I can do this. And that shot up my confidence like I've never seen before.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's when the results reinforce what you want to do, that's when you start seeing, that's when it starts becoming real. But when your results reinforce bad behavior, that's when it gets tough. So at what point did you realize that, should I rephrase that? So at what point did you realize your mistakes that you kept repeating, and what point did you realize the solutions to those mistakes?
I feel like I haven't really resolved those issues even till now. I still make pretty much the same mistakes that I did before. The only thing that really changed was I started trading prop firms, right? When I was trading my own capital, there were no rules. I could trade however I want, risk however much, but that didn't work for me. The moment I went into prop firms, the first 2 years was unprofitable, but then I started realizing that these external rules that I have to abide by, they actually now, they work in my favor. So I kind of, my hand is being forced to trade in a specific way rather than not having any rules. So I guess that's kind of what changed for me.
Yeah. And when you started trading, did you have prop firms? Did you always have prop firms, Fannie, or did you start trading your personal capital at any point?
No, I never started to trade with my own capital. I was watching videos for 4 months and then I said, let's just take one eval account to practice on, because if I run it up to the profit goal, that means I'm consistent. It's a proof for me as well that, okay, it's time to scale and invest in maybe more prop accounts. But then after that, I would probably build up my own capital to trade later on. That's the plan.
Yeah, I think for traders who I would say started trading in the last 7 years, which is when prop firms started to become really popular, I feel like they were both lucky. They were both lucky and unfortunate, because think about it. When you start trading your own personal capital, what you're really looking at is you're looking at long-term gains, right? You can't really expect short-term gains unless you're flipping or gambling. And that type of mindset requires you to, I guess, delay gratification a lot. You have to really follow your edge over time. But with prop firms, like you just described, you're only looking at hitting 10%. And so it's a very short-term goal. And in a way, it's unlucky because now you're thinking short-term. And you're not really thinking long-term. But you're lucky because you get capital. You get extra capital that a trader trading their own capital wouldn't have as much leverage. They wouldn't have as much buying power.
Yeah.
So how would you feel if you were trading your own personal capital, as a beginner trader without prop firms?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I need to learn right now is to trust my system and build up the confidence. And without that confidence, it's hard to trust that I will be able to build it up, the capital as well. So I'm focusing on my system and processes first. And once I have the confidence, then probably will have to go through a few hurdles, because now I'm thinking, oh, it's not my own money. And when I'm using my own money, I'm like, damn, that's just $200 out of my pocket or something. It's gonna hit different.
Yeah.
But I think once you have that confidence that, okay, I can make that back because I know what I know and I will apply it, and it's been working always, so why would it be any different now?
Yeah. When it comes to confidence, what do you define as confidence for you, Zamco, in your journey? Because you went from beginner, you got a few results, and then you started scaling. And obviously your confidence will grow as you get more and more results. But if you can recall the moments where you weren't that confident, what was the stepping stone to achieving more confidence in your trading and in yourself?
I think it was just results. The moment you start getting results from whatever process you're doing, your confidence will naturally increase as you keep seeing results. So a lot of people talk about like downward spirals in people's lives, but upward spirals are also another thing, where as you keep getting results and keep winning, it just keeps going up. So whether that be monetary wise, but it also is your confidence as well. Your confidence just starts to go up as you keep making the results. So I think that was a stepping stone. It's just getting the results. It just does something to you.
So is that purely just P&L results, or do you define results as something else?
So two ways. It could also just be your trade playing out again and again and again. But of course, I guess it doesn't really matter unless you're taking the trades. So I guess it does kind of lean into the more monetary P&L, getting the winning trades. I guess that's what boosts your confidence. Because again, if you miss the trades, it's nice to actually see that if you miss your trade, but you still see it play out, it's like, okay, that follows my system. It does work. But obviously entering it, going through the psychology of being in the trade and making that money, that's something else.
Yeah, that's really key there. And for yourself, as you're now in that journey of building confidence, have you reached a stage where you're able to forecast effectively? You're able to prepare yourself, take a trade, and actually get results from it? Are you at that stage yet?
Yeah, so in the last few weeks, someone actually reached out to me to help me with my the technicals, and I see it working again and again, and it looks like magic. Like, I'm just so hopeful and excited that if I can make this my own, I think that would be a turning point for me.
And what were you doing before? Like, how would you compare?
So, yeah, before I've been learning ICT's concept and ICT's 2022 model, and it's just a lot. and he introduces new concepts all the time. And I'm focusing on one for a week, let's say. And okay, I see it working, but it's not all the time. And it just confuses me. And when I just see the price section, of course, it's like emotions are high and you are focusing. And then you just remember something that you learned, 2 weeks ago, and you try to apply it and it doesn't work. So I would say it didn't come together before that. But now that someone showed me how they found success this way, it's different. And I feel like I'm going towards that confidence that I'm desiring.
Yeah. It goes to show that when you have feedback loops, where you're actually learning from someone else, you're able to ask questions, and they're able to give you feedback on what they're teaching you, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. It's so powerful, and it's one of the best ways to actually learn. And that's something that for me as a coach, I have to provide. I have to provide these feedback loops to ensure that my clients are actually getting the responses that they need, and I'm calling them out when they're doing things wrong. This is such a game changer, and it's a big difference between watching the videos on YouTube, because it's passive learning, right? But to actually learn, you need to actively learn, get feedback from someone else, because that's really when you start, most people start seeing progress. Some people, I've also met people that have never had a coach, never had a mentor, never had a trader, technical coach, and they just managed to do it on their own. But I guess those are special cases, because the majority of people, I do believe that they need guidance.
Yeah, and what you just said there about calling people out when they are about to develop bad habits, I think that's so important, because from outside it's easier to see that this is not going to lead anywhere, this habit, so might just drop it now. Yeah.
So how about yourself, Zamco? Did you have someone to teach you technicals, to guide you through technicals, to give you that feedback in the beginning, or were you a lone wolf?
I've pretty much always just been by myself for all of that time. I've never had a mentor or anything, but I guess that's probably why I was unprofitable for so long. The only thing that really changed was I got married, and that's where my wife helped me become more self-accountable, understand who I am as a person. So I guess that's where the change started happening, where I started understanding who I actually am as a person, where are my flaws, what am I doing wrong, and started to work on that. So I guess that's what kind of changed it. But otherwise, I've just been by myself the whole time, no mentors, nothing. So I've had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that, because although you didn't have any technical support or coaching, you still had accountability. And that's something that a coach or a mentor actually provides you, is a level of accountability where you're now responsible for your actions. And getting married, of course, now your actions have a direct impact on someone else's life, someone you care about. And I can see how you started becoming more serious after you got married. And did your wife ever call you out when you were not following your rules, or was it just like an automatic thing for you? Like, no, okay. It was like a night and day difference in your performance?
I guess she would call out my nonsense all the time. Like, if she can see I'm in a trade, she can see that I've taken a loss, and then she sees I'm in another position. She's like, why are you doing that? She knows my time windows as well to enter trades. So she knows, like, at 11 or 12 p.m., that's in between London and New York. And if I'm entering a trade, she's like, you're out of your window. Why are you entering a trade now? I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, it looks all right. And that, again, it's things like this where she keeps picking out, like, it's outside of your window. Why are you doing that?
Wow.
So she's learning how to trade as well. So she does understand what I am doing wrong, and she can pick up on that.
Well, sounds like she'll be a good performance coach.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. Well, send me, like, if she's ever interested, if I'm ever hiring, I'll probably give her an opportunity for a performance coach, because that's exactly the type of things that we do as a performance coach. It's just understanding a trader's windows, understanding their risk limits, their actual entry rules, stop loss placements, everything, but then holding them accountable when they don't follow those things. Because when you have that type of accountability, and it seems like you've had that support, no wonder you're getting the results that you're getting. So that's really nice that she does that. Lahoma Badik. It's amazing. So I wanted to I wanted to request, Fannie, for you to ask us some questions like about your journey as a beginner. Like, between, Zamco and myself, we have close to 2 decades of experience.
Yeah.
So as a beginner, I'm sure those listening who are in their first year of trading, they might want to ask similar questions.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah.
We're here to provide you that support in your journey as a beginner trader.
Yeah. Let me maximize this opportunity then. So my first question would be, it's quite easy. So I'm trying to build good habits, and from reacting, I try to be more strategic, and I follow a routine. But I would like to know what your routines are that, help you perform better, that you noticed definitely helps you better.
I would be the worst person to ask that question, because I'm all over the place. Like, my morning's routine, I don't really even have a routine. I just wake up, I pray, just get back in bed, wait for London session. If I see my setup, I take it. If I don't, then I don't. But throughout the day, like, I don't really do any sort of like routine that's quite disciplined. I should be. I used to go to the gym like constantly, 5 days, 6 days a week, but now it's like 1 or 2 times a week or something. I'm getting very lazy, so I'm not the best person to ask for daily routines.
I think you are, because I'm the type of person who can be sometimes like an over effort is a good word to explain sometimes what I do. So, your routine actually, like, okay, it doesn't have to be that tight. You can still enjoy, and, you can still want it, and you don't have to be like, nervous about it. So thank you.
Yeah. I think it's more just about understanding your trading system. I don't think external routine should impact it. If you have a trading system, you have a setup that you're waiting for, you just wait for it. If you don't see it, you don't take it. So I kind of just rely on that now.
And was that the same throughout the 6 years, or did you ever have a routine throughout the 6 years, or is it just recently that you have a bit more relaxed approach to your routine?
Before, I used to just generally be more disciplined, but when it came to trading, I was everywhere. Like, no matter what time of day it is, I am in a trade. It doesn't matter. But now I am starting to refine it to a specific time window, because I want to create more time for myself. Because I've noticed I can spend 8 to 12 hours on my phone looking at trades or the charts every day, even now. So I kind of limit myself to, look, London session, I'm going to find my entries. If I don't, then pretty much leave it for the rest of the day. So that's helping me just enjoy my days more, because I've made quite a bit, but I'm not enjoying it. I'm still working. So I want to try to enjoy life a bit.
How do you enjoy life? Like, what's a typical way that you find enjoyment in your day outside the trading?
I wish I actually had a lot of things that I'd enjoy. I can be quite boring. But I guess the one thing I do quite a lot is just go out and eat with my brother and his friend or whatever. Other than that, not really much. I'm pretty much just at home, just laying around.
What I like about your routine, and I've worked with hundreds of traders, and simplicity is key. So, it's a great question, and everyone's going to give you a different answer. But in your case, less is more as well. The fact that you have a limited morning routine pre-London, where you just wake up to pray and then you go back to sleep, that ensures you get your connection with Allah sorted. That responsibility is there, and then you go back to bed, meaning you get your full night's sleep. So now you feel rested.
I don't really even go back to sleep.
Or sometimes you don't even go back to sleep.
I'm just on my phone or something.
All right. Well, nevertheless, it's a simple routine in the morning.
Very simple, yeah.
Now, once you finish your trading window, you have the rest of the day to do what you enjoy. You refer to it as boring, but you know what? That's what detaches you from the trading itself. And within that enjoyment, where you have a meal with your brothers, where you disconnect from your phone, from technology, that in itself is an effective routine for you to reset and be prepared for the next trading session. So it works for you, and everyone's going to be different. And if you overcomplicate it, you're doing the ice plunge, and then you're doing the sprints, and then you're doing, the whatever in the mornings, then it's hard to maintain. So I think the key is less is more, and keep it simple.
Yeah, thank you. One thing I struggled with, and sometimes I still do, is measuring performance as a beginner trader. And what I mean by that is when you start learning concepts and habits and behaviors and the technicals and all of that, you often look at your P&L at the end of the day. Is it green or red? And that's the only way you know you are doing good, well, or you need to learn more and go back to the studying. And so that really discouraged me many times, like my own expectations that I should be somewhere else, like I should be doing so much better. Like time went by, I have the opportunity to look at the chart all day, and like my own expectations were the ones bringing me down. And if I found a way to just tell myself that, okay, this is progress, I'm not doing these mistakes now, and look at this, and celebrating those small successes would have made a big difference in my journey. So do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, so I would say enjoy the losses. It doesn't seem like it, but when I take a loss, I get very happy sometimes because I can see where I went wrong. And that, I really love it, because the moment I see where I went wrong, for the next time, I know that's something I need to watch out for. So over time, as you take losses and you enjoy it, and you keep looking at, okay, that's where I went wrong. That candle, I didn't look at that, or I was entering at this time, or whatever. You enjoy that loss, you learn from it, and then now you know that next time, if I ever see that again, I'll watch out for that. So I really love that learning process when I take a loss. So sometimes I smile when I hit stop loss. I'm like, yeah, I missed that thing there. And it's like clear as day, like I should have seen that. So I guess approach it with enjoying the loss and learning from it.
And just having that clarity from, you know what you did wrong.
Exactly.
You can avoid it then.
That's it.
Yeah, I love that. The way you reframed what is supposed to be something negative to something positive is essentially, you become a problem solver. And so the problem is the mistake. And you keep identifying that same mistake until you develop the solution and you start implementing the solution. So I like the fact that you've kind of switched the game from focus on the outcome to focus on catching the problems. And the more times you catch that problem or the mistake, the less likely you are to continue it.
Exactly.
So there's one thing that I've used in myself and my clients has been very effective is gamification. So what you've kind of done is you've gamified the process. So instead of focusing and gamifying the P&L and just judging yourself based on that score, you change the score. So in your case, Zamco, your score is how many mistakes can I catch? For myself, I built a daily scorecard where I score how often can I follow my rules. So I have pre-session protocols, I have trade management protocols, and I have post-session protocols. And every time I take one of those, I get X amount of points. My goal at the end of the day is to hit high score on my process. And of course, the byproduct of that is the P&L, right? Yeah. So it's about, for me, gamification is a great psychological hack to be able to focus away from the outcome where you judge yourself based on your P&L. And that's crazy because one day it's up, one day it's down, and then so is your emotions. And then when that happens, so is your identity. Yeah. And then you end up with this almost identity crisis of, oh, I'm a trader, but I don't have the results, meaning there's something wrong with me. And then because you keep, every loss reinforces that belief, there's this cognitive sabotage cycle of that belief. But then when you switch it and you focus on gamifying the process, then you'll be able to detach more from the outcome. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you. So another question I thought I would ask is, you said that you have 7 years experience and 6 of that was unprofitable. But if you could start over with that knowledge that you have right now and experience, what what would be the fastest way to get where you are now?
Do you mean in terms of funding and payouts, or?
I mean in terms of like learning it from the very beginning. And like skipping those challenges that you had to go through, like how you would overcome it so you get where you are right now.
Mm-hmm. So I think one thing I would really focus on is first the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You need to nail down how are you going to be entering the market, where, when, how, when are you going to get out, things like that. So one major thing to do is to understand where big major reversals take place. So in my strategy, I try to catch the big continuations. So when we retrace, as we're pushing bullish, if we retrace down, I then try to take the buy on that retracement to then continue up. So as we're making the higher low, then I want to anticipate the next higher high.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just following market structures. That's my system. But starting out, if I understand, cool, I want to follow the trend. One major thing I would say is to look at where the big reversal points happen.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you enter the market, if your stop loss is hit and then finally price moves in your direction, at the exact point where price finally turned around, instantly look to the left. What candle was sitting there? What type of area was sitting there? Was it in like a psychological level, so like whole numbers? Was it in a premium or discount area? What fair value gap was sitting there? Whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
where that final reversal finally took place, look to the left, because that will tell you everything you need to know. It tells you where and how price reverses and the types of areas it does. That helps you build your system. Then you know where you need to actually look at to take your buys and sells. You know where the actual reversals finally take place.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people just hit stop loss, and then finally price moves in their direction. They start complaining, oh, I just hit my stop loss. But they're not learning, why did it hit your stop loss?
Mm-hmm.
What was there to the left?
Mm-hmm.
So always look to the left whenever you get that final reversal or the push that you were looking for.
Mm.
And then you can build that system much better from the start.
Mm-hmm. And after you nail the strategy, the results would just come.
I think the biggest part is once you have the strategy, the hardest part is sticking to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people deviate from it, and that's not something I can help people with.
No.
Like, that just comes down to who you are as a person. If you are a very impulsive person, just in general life, I'm sorry, that's going to be very difficult for you. So it's just more about learning who you are as a person and trying to fix that, I guess. Mm-hmm. So that's what changed for me when I got married. Mm-hmm. I had to change as a person. Mm-hmm. Because I'm married. So it's a different life that I live now. I have to be self-accountable. I have to work on my flaws. So I understood I am very impulsive. So I had to kind of counteract that. So I guess it's just understanding who you are as a person. That helps you greatly.
Mm-hmm. Self-awareness.
Exactly, self-awareness.
Yeah. Zamco, was there anything that had to change in your risk management approach that took you from being inconsistent to actually, because you were inconsistent with your personal trading accounts, but then you had to shift your approach for funding. How did you have to change your risk management in order to make it work? So you pass the evaluations, you get funded, and then you actually get to pay out.
Yes, this was actually very interesting for me. When I continued to risk like 0.5% or whatever in my challenges when I first started prop firms, that actually didn't work for me. The moment I became very profitable and passing challenges very quickly was when I increased my risk. So I've now implemented something where whatever the maximum I can risk is, like whatever the max is that I can risk on a prop firm, I risk that. So let's say I can risk my entire daily drawdown in a single trade. I will do that. The reason for that is because I understand I only need like a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward to pass phase one. That's not that difficult compared to trying to risk 0.5% to hit such a huge profit target. It's just much easier if you risk a lot. Obviously, the drawdown to that is you can blow your account very quickly, but understanding that it's just a reset button. I can buy another account. I'm not really losing as much as I can potentially make once funded. So my approach is very high risk as much as I'm allowed to pass very quickly through the challenges. And then once you get funded, then drop your risk down to like 0.5 or 1%. Because now you have the money. Now try to work with it and don't go crazy. So try to keep that account going. So yeah, very high risk initially in challenges, but then drop your risk in funded. But when I was risking very low risk on challenges back when I started prop firms, it just didn't work for me, because again, your profit targets are so big, it's hard to make that.
Yeah, I can see how that high risk on a personal account wouldn't work. But I guess that is the best approach. And I guess I wouldn't call it high risk. It's just you're just utilizing the rules and using a strategy where you're only trying to achieve a 2R.
Yeah.
And you're risking the working capital in order to pass, because really the objective is just to pass. But you're just going to focus on the best trade possible to actually do that with.
Exactly.
So that requires a lot of patience, and you're going to get it wrong sometimes. So do you set aside a specific budget for how many times you do that? Because if you get it wrong, you blow the account. But how many times do you give yourself to actually pass the phases to actually get funded?
I just keep going. Me personally, I don't stop until the bank is zero. I just keep going, basically. Even when I first started using very high risk, it's like I'll blow through all of my wages and then I just wait to get paid again and do the same thing again. So until it finally hits. So that's kind of how I approach it. I didn't really have like a set budget. It was like, I need to do this. I have to pass. I know I'm going to make a lot of money from this. So whatever money I had, just use it for passing accounts, basically.
That's interesting.
Another thing is, a lot of people call me a gambler because I risk like 3, 4, 5% in a certain trade. But they don't realize that I'm just risking the account fees. So like, even if I blow the account, I've only lost my actual initial fee. So you're not technically risking 4 or 5%. You're just risking your fee, really. So that's another thing. Because if I lose an account, let's say I paid $500 for it, I've lost 500, even though I was risking like 3 or 4,000 in a trade. It doesn't really matter, because I'm only risking my 500 initial. So that's just another thing. I don't see it as gambling.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. How about your approach, Fannie, to risk management? How do you approach it?
So my risk management is very simple at the moment. I'm using just one 50K prop account, and I risk $100 on every trade. So I try to place limit orders where possible, or if I need to be quick, I just look at how many points there are and approximately how many contracts I need to take on to risk $100. And then I would target 2R or 3R. And then, that's it. But it's really nice to see my calendar when I see that, okay, on this day I lost 100. That's easy to fix, because I know on the next trade it's going to be 2 times or 3 times that. So that's been working for me. But as I'm building the confidence and consistency, I know that will change, and I'm just admiring your approach, like the high risk, and because I can see that working as well.
Would you ever try it, Zamco's approach?
I would need really good confidence in my edge.
So then it's a question of confidence to then, because what you're doing is you're treating it like a business, right? You have a set budget each month, and each account you have a set risk per account. Now, one of those accounts, if you manage to get it funded and you then trade it with reduced risk, that one account is likely to cover the cost of all the other accounts. So it really becomes a business expense. And I would have to, I think that is the best approach from working with a lot of traders. That is probably the most optimal approach to trading with a funded account, where you're a little bit more aggressive during the evaluation. But to get that confidence, then obviously then you need to work on your technical ability. And that will come with time.
I'm sure,
So once you have a bit more confidence, I can definitely see you risking the daily drawdown just to get the pass.
Just watch me.
Well, you're sharing your journey online, which is great. You grew a TikTok channel to over almost a million.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
800,000 followers. And so The channel was created initially for something else, where me and my partner were sticking googly eyes for fun, and people really like simple, funny videos, which is what TikTok is for, in my opinion. And I had a really long losing streak and a really hard time learning trading, like no results. I didn't see the progress I wanted, and I just said in March, I really want to go in. Let me just use my tools or my channel to support this journey. So I transformed it and I started to create videos for TikTok. But I also started a channel on Twitter, which is now X, and over 2,000 people are following the journey. And it's really like warming my heart that people actually care about the journey and they relate to my journey so much. Because I'm sharing everything, like working for your dream it's not cool, it's really embarrassing. And I don't mind sharing that because I know it will be worth it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A journey of a trader is like, you don't see any results straight away. Even it could take years just to see any result. And it really plays on your self-esteem. It really plays on your confidence.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we got bills to pay. You know, we've got, like you said earlier, expectations. And when those expectations are not being reinforced with results, then where do you get a confidence from? Like what you were saying earlier, right? Your confidence came with the results.
Yep.
Yeah.
So trading is tough. It is tough. And so it's the fact that you're sharing your journey and so many people are connecting with you is brilliant. And I think I'm going to be watching your journey. I want to see you win. And anytime you need any tips or advice, I'll be here to assist.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I think just having that social media presence, it brings people closer, because trading is hard, as we talked about it. But when you share your challenges, people feel like, okay, I'm not alone. Because that's how I felt when I wasn't sharing it and I didn't watch other people's journeys. And I just realized that, like, at one point I was crying in my room and saying that I must be like just really unlucky with like 90% losing rate, that even someone who doesn't have any knowledge about the market would have better luck than me, because I was trying to apply so many technicals and concepts. Like, how can I be so unlucky? Something's really wrong with me. And when I saw online that I'm not the only one, people are actually going through this, then that gave me some relief that, okay, this is just how it is, and we need to just manage it and overcome it and just be better. Yeah.
I would like to know what your 99% loss rate strategy is, because then if you do the opposite, you have a 99% win rate.
I know, right?
And we can make money off that.
But you know what? I tried that and I still lost.
Okay.
It's just the market makers.
Yeah. And I'm quite surprised that people on X have been so welcoming and so nice to you, because I've stopped on X because it became so toxic.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, maybe, I guess you're lucky in that sense.
Yeah, I still get some people, and a lot of people love giving advice, and I just, sometimes it's like too much information and I can't give the attention to that advice as much. But yes, I've seen a growing support in this community, not just on my channel, other people's channel, and easy to block someone if you don't like.
Exactly. That's the best feature of X, is block. Block and mute.
Yes.
Best feature. I'm actually very curious about the way you trade. So we'd love to see you guys break down a winning trade, perhaps maybe if we've got time, a losing trade. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Right. What are we looking at here, Fannie?
So, as I mentioned, someone reached out to me 3 weeks ago, and so I'm applying what I learned from him. And so that means we are starting from a higher time frame context. Always start from higher time frame. And it strongly links to ICT's PD arrays as well. So I would note which PD array on the weekly chart we touched last time. And leading from that touch, I would look at what daily PD array formed.
Right.
And you go on the lower time frame that way. And when I'm looking for entries, I look at, okay, what is the 4-hour PD array that was touched last time? And if there is any PD array on the 1 hour that is available, and that's closer to the price.
Yep.
And in this example, I also thrown in there accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. As it was accumulating during the pre-market, building relative equal highs. And relative equal highs and relative equal lows, they are like magnet. They really attract price to go there. And it's like hunting, because I knew that black line on the bottom, the order block, was already there.
Right.
There was also a fair value gap in this area that price already used. So I was monitoring these two levels, that if I see a reaction, and by reaction I mean I need 3 1-minute PD arrays to enter, which would give me a really quick entry, like a low risk entry, and I can target those relative equal highs. So all I need is a sell side liquidity sweep, touching the PD array 1 hour, wait for those 3 1-minute PD arrays, and then enter. But you also need the right time.
Yes.
And here, the right time was that 9:30 manipulated into your key level, and then 9:35 started the distribution, the buy program. And normally, the silver bullet time, which is 10 to 11 a.m., offers a one-sided delivery. Most times, then it doesn't. So in this case, I could have held longer, but I'm just building the experience, and I want to have those quick wins. But this is a good example where it just went even higher.
Yeah, there's 2 things that really impress me. Is that, one, you don't sound like a beginner trader when you explain that. You don't sound like a novice. So that's really impressive. Secondly, I've seen a few of my clients use this exact framework to not only get funded, but to extract over 6 figures in payouts.
There we go. That's the future I'm aiming for.
Yeah, so yeah, if you keep trading this, I think the toughest part of this setup, because you've explained it very well, the toughest part is going to be this.
Yes.
So if you're able to monitor, be self-aware of your triggers, or perhaps maybe some limited beliefs, or your expectations.
Yeah.
If you're aware of that and you have rules in order to mitigate that, so you don't overtrade, you don't revenge trade, or you don't hesitate because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
As long as you just stick to this, you're going to succeed.
Yeah. And that's how I felt in the last few weeks, where I had this turning point again, like I can see where this can take me. And all I need is just time and practice now. And that clarity is just exactly what I needed. Like I've been hungry for 8 months learning this, and someone reached out to me and just fed me, and I'm like, you can't imagine that feeling, that I can see where this is taking me.
That's awesome. Well done.
Thank you.
Looking forward to your progress.
I appreciate it.
Zamco, with you, I want to not just see one of your winning setups, but also what is one of your losing setups, because then we'll be able to see exactly how you think when you approach your trading.
Yeah, sure. So let me just find it right here. So over here, I trade DAX quite a lot, which is German 40. And over here, basically what we can see, this is London Open. So I typically trade London Open, see where it's pushing and any sort of liquidity around it. So what I did was I marked out this fair value gap right at London Open. As price pushed up, I was expecting price to come back down to this 1 minute fair value gap and continue up higher. So I took my buy right here with my stop loss just below the wick low that created this fair value gap. So I took this trade anticipating price to maybe sweep this high minimum. Usually I aim for like much higher targets, but I was just trying to basically just quickly catch this buy so that I can take the sell. So what happened was we tapped in, we rejected, but then we hit stop loss. Now the thing was, I realized afterwards why we hit stop loss, because we had this untested fair value gap down here. This was in pre-London. So we had this untested fair value gap down here. And the reason why that is so significant to me is because when we retrace, so as we move from this low to this high, as we retrace down, we didn't retrace down more than 50% of this move that pushed up. So that means we didn't come into a discounted area before price started pushing up. That left this fair value gap untested. So if we mark out our fib from this high to this high that was created, we can see price never retraced over here below 50% of this move. So it never came into a discount and price started moving up. So we can see later on, finally price came down to fill in this inefficiency over here, below 50%. Finally it tapped in, and then finally price started moving up. So that shows that I took this entry quite early. I didn't realize that we never filled 50% of this move. We never came into a discount. So we had an open fair value gap over here. So that's kind of where my loss was. I should have entered down here.
So would you say that was a mistake on your part then?
Yeah, because I teach this exact same thing in like the V3 that I'm about to launch. I teach this exact same thing where if price doesn't retrace more than 50% and we continue up, you have an open fair value gap and it hasn't retraced more than 50%, it's more likely going to come into that eventually and then finally go up. So even if it breaks these lows, people are thinking, oh, we're breaking structure to the downside. We're really not. We're just grabbing liquidity that was untested, and we had to grab that to then continue up. So I would have caught this move. Instead, I just took a loss.
Right. And how do you use your higher time frame bias? Like how do you determine that?
So higher time frame bias, first, like I would get on to, normally I use the daily time frame, but on this specific scenario, I was looking at this 1 hour fair value gap over here. So I marked that out, and that's kind of what I was targeting for the buys.
Even though it had already been, it hadn't.
No, it hadn't.
It hadn't reached.
So I was anticipating to sell. I wanted to sell German 40, and look, we did come into the 1 hour fair value gap, and now we're selling off. So I wanted to sell, so I wanted to quickly buy so that I could sell.
I see.
But I took that buy too early, so that was my fault. But we can see that on higher time frame, we have this 1 hour fair value gap that broke this low. So we were printing bearish, retracing up to then continue further down. That's kind of what I was anticipating. And the reason for that was we broke this low, and the way we came up, even though we rejected this fair value gap, you can see how much we consolidated before moving up. So there's no actual like big buyers sitting over here, because if there were, we wouldn't consolidate this much. So that's why I was kind of targeting these lows, and look, we're finally kind of pushing towards that. So that's kind of what I was anticipating, for the buy up to this area to then sell.
And how did that loss make you feel? How did that mistake make you feel?
I kind of smiled, because again, I just enjoyed it. I was like, oh my gosh, I missed that. And I kind of just smiled looking at it like, okay, that's kind of what I wanted to look at. But I just missed it. It's my fault. And I even said sorry to my brother. I was like, yeah, it's my fault. I missed that. Because we both took this trade over here. And he actually pointed out this fair value gap to me, but I didn't see it as significant because we were up here. But I didn't realize we didn't retrace more than 50%. So that was still open for me. So it was nice to see that. It's like, oh, okay. So again, it's working. The strategy works. It's just I was stupid. I entered early. So it's nice to see it working out.
That's the thing. One of the biggest flaws that traders have, even experienced traders, is the confirmation bias.
Yes.
And because even though the information is right in front of us, even though someone else is telling us, our brain somehow chooses to ignore it. And it's probably the number one enemy for traders is confirmation bias.
Definitely.
So the fact that it's still happening with you goes to show why it's still important to manage your risk. And again, it humbles you, right? It makes you, you realize that you're gonna make human mistakes. So what does it actually look like when you do win?
So it would actually look like this.
Okay.
I guess literally this is typically what I would be taking. This week has been quite bad for me. Only today have I actually taken a win finally. So this was today I took a loss, and this is the second trade I took. Let me just zoom out.
Yeah, you showed me earlier and you literally just got a sniper entry, no drawdown on that.
Yeah. So basically,
wow.
This is the trade here on gold. So this is the previous daily low that I was targeting. We finally actually hit it. And so basically what happened was we pushed down quite impulsively. We had an untested 30-minute fair value gap. And then we also had this Asian high over here that was swept. And I was anticipating price to come down to sweep the previous daily low. The reason for that is because if you look at the daily candles, you can see we had a daily fair value gap as well. So when the next daily candle opened up and started pushing up into this daily fair value gap, I just tried to refine some sort of zone that I can look at to take my sell. Because overall, I was bearish. And the reason for that was if we zoom out and we look to the left, we can see this low that came down to here. It came very close to a previous low over here. But we didn't sweep it, and there was no sort of fair value gap down here for it to reject and come, like start pushing up. So again, it came very close to this low, but it didn't. So now I'm just anticipating price to overall come down to sweep this low. But minimum, I target previous daily lows and highs. So we had a 30-minute fair value gap untested. We came into it and finally started dropping.
So have you now hit TP? Are you out the trade?
No, I'm still holding. I should have got out here, but I just never set a TP. That's my fault.
Okay.
So I'm anticipating price to continue down lower. So we'll see if that happens. But overall, this is where I should have taken my target. I'm still in this trade.
All right. Well, what's your plan? Are you going to take partials or are you just going to hold it?
I never take partials. It's either going to be break even or we're going to continue down lower, one or the other.
All right. So good luck with that trade.
We'll see. Thank you.
I think the biggest takeaways is that there's not much difference between the journey of an expert, experienced trader to where you are right at the beginning, because we all have to go through these tough times, and once you build that confidence through results, and if you keep taking trades like that, you're gonna achieve that confidence that you need, and maybe even start being a bit more aggressive with your risk.
Yes. Like
so like Zamco. And what I want to do as we wrap up the last part of the podcast is to give you guys the opportunity to ask a question for the next guest. So can you think of a question that you would like the next guest to answer? We'll start off with Fannie.
Yeah. So my question for the next guest is, what's a mistake that you're still making and you don't like to admit it?
Okay. And yourself?
I would ask, how important do you think understanding your personality is when it comes to trading and creating a trading plan?
Wow, that's a deep one. Yeah, for me, I would say, what are your top invalidation rules to stay out the trade on that day? Because I think it's also important to know when not to trade. All right, guys, that wraps up today's Risk Reward podcast. Make sure you subscribe and share the video with another trader, and leave a comment below. Support the traders, support our guests, and make sure you stay disciplined and you stay funded. Take care, everyone.